welcome to the Jakarta Globe News Channel. I'm Florence Armein and this is The Perspective. This week we take a look into the property industry or sector in the country, and with us in the studio today, present to give his insight and perspective is Aswin Sumampau, the CEO and founder of Aviary Indonesia. Welcome, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
So we'd like to think, or developers are thinking, that the market sector in Indonesia, or the industry, is rising. There seems to be a lot, by the size of the sheer numbers of apartments, luxury livings, properties that are building up in the country, in Jakarta particularly. We'd like to think there's a demand for this. But what's your perspective on that?
Well, I think Indonesia is still a young economy, and I think there's a lot of growth in Indonesia. If we compare ourselves to our friendly neighbors around Southeast Asia, I think we have a lot more rooms to grow. It's just when and where is it going to grow? Is it going to grow outside Jakarta, or is it going to grow inside Jakarta? And what will drive the growth in Indonesia? I think there's still a lot of potential in Indonesia at the moment.
Now, with Jokowi Widodo's government administration that are very progressive and very aggressive in terms of developing infrastructure in areas not just big cities, but they start from rural towards big cities. Is this also an incentive for developers and realty companies and firms to come up with affordable housing around the country?
Yeah, I think so. I think the infrastructure is very important. So the fact that the government is pushing that is really helping the growth outside of Jakarta, which is still much more potential than inside Jakarta, because Jakarta is pretty mature already. But also the tourism industry that the government is pushing is really, it will help a lot in Indonesia of getting the outside money coming into Indonesia, I think. Yeah.
Investment coming into Indonesia.
Yes,
now,
right.
Out of the investment that are coming into Indonesia, what is the ideal portion here that should be invested into hospitality and tourism in your view?
Well, at the moment, if we see around Asia, we have around, if we say hospitality industry, we have an average of 65%, 68% of occupancy rate. So there's still a lot of rooms inside it, and I think you know, if we talk about Indonesia getting 2 million outside visitors, and we have, at the moment, we have 900,000 domestic tourists. So we still have a lot more room for hospitality industry to grow. I guess it comes back to who's the player and how passionate are we in this hospitality industry at the moment.
And now your operation being focused in Jakarta, in your view, where do you think developers and realty firms are heading towards? Are they going to maintain luxury living development in the country, or are they leaning towards more affordable housing and properties here in the city? How do you read the market at the moment? What's high in demand?
Well, if we talk about Jakarta is the rise of middle class. That's the topic these days. Right? Yeah. We're going to have the 80 millions of middle class by 2020. So, and this middle class needs housings, needs hospitality, needs hospital, and needs all these basic needs of the city. And I think in the future, it goes back not to the really affordable, but it goes to the middle class tier that are going to support the economy. You know, whether it is if it's in outer Jakarta where it's landed living, it's going to be affordable. But within Jakarta, I think it's going to be high-rise building that's going to push the market, I think.
And what's the trend of affordable luxury living here in the metropolitan? Are people now leaning towards apartments and condominiums for its convenience, or are we, do we remain the traditional market where we do know we need to have a house, there needs to be a land somewhere, it has to be a lawn, there's a parking space. You know, these are the things that we weigh when it comes to trying to find property for our family.
Well, I think...
What's the trend?
Yeah, well, I think if we see in bigger cities, people tends to move from landed property to apartments.
High-rise, yeah.
To high-rise, because, well, the fact that Indonesia doesn't have a lot of lands, it has a lot of seas, and so I think sooner or later the people in Indonesia will realize that they will have to be in the middle of the city to go to work. And especially these days, you can see all the government's effort in building the MRT, the monorail, and everything. I think that's going to help.
And they want to be near that ecosystem so that it makes it convenient for their lives.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, because in the future, I'm sure the government will push people into public transport, will push people into using all this public development instead of having a lot of cars, having a lot of motorbikes, having a lot of, that's not really sustainable for the economy, I think, in the future.
Judging by the sheer number of traffic that we have in the city, because more and more people are having their houses or places of homes outside the city.
Yes.
Right, and more and more because they prefer landed houses. Therefore, that's where the developers are looking at, because there's vast of land that is undeveloped, and it's also cheaper.
Yes, it's cheaper, and then you have the cheaper cars coming in, the cheaper motorbikes coming in, and then you got all these problems at the moment. Yeah.
All right, all right. Now we'll talk more about Aviary, your property here in Indonesia, which is looking to launch very soon, and I understand there's some degree of uniqueness into this property. Aswin will talk about Aviary Indonesia when we come back. Stay right here on The Perspective.
Thank you.